So, I was once sued by Steve Jobs. What happened? So, back in the early days of the internet, when online greeting cards were a thing, my friend and my friend was a web designer, we decided that we were going to make an Apple themed greeting card site, and the format that it was going to take was the very iconic Apple advertising style, where it was a very white background, you had the product, and you had a strap line at the bottom, something like, think different or whatever in Apple's typeface. It's very iconic advertising. But very beautiful advertising, but like a lot of things that Apple do advertising wise, it's a bit dull, it's a bit corporate. So my friend is very creative, and to be honest, most of this was him, not me. But he was an Apple fan as well. I just started my business at the time, which was called Apple Max, spelled M-A-X. And yeah, so we built this website with humorous content. And to give you an example of some of the things that we created around Valentine's Day a series of cards. One was it's just after the iMac had come out, and we had a picture of the iMac in pink, and the strapline in the Apple typeface at the bottom was, the last thing you need this Valentine's Day is a floppy. Famously, the iMac never had a floppy drive. Another one was the QuickTime logo, and the strapline was fancy a quickie. We thought these cards were amazing, and the public seemed to like them as well. At their height, about one a second were being sent. And shortly after this, Apple launched their own greeting card site as part of the whole mac.com, me.com email address, and they had lots of services, like you could make photo books, etc. But one of the things they did was bring out an online greeting card site. Now, Steve Jobs famously said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." And so we thought this would be a great idea for a card. And we took a screen grab of the Apple greeting card site, and we put it on one of our cards. And the tagline was, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." Pretty cheeky, if you think about it, considering we'd been ripping off their advertising style for about 6 months. I would say at this point that because it's the early days of the internet, this site wasn't monetized or anything. We were literally just doing it for fun. One day we had a notification, because we'd set up a bit of a script to say, if anyone from apple.com sends a card, let us know. And one day we had a ping that said, someone from apple.com has sent a card. Now, this wasn't particularly unusual, because the word was going around Apple and lots of people were sending cards. The chief financial officer of Apple at the time had sent one to a colleague and said, "Don't tell anyone this, but these cards are so much better than ours." But one day we got a notification that sjobs at apple.com had sent a card. And we were super excited, because we were like, "Oh, I wonder what Steve thinks of the cards, and I wonder if he's going to, buy our card site," or, don't know what we thought really. And we were a bit naughty. We were like, we want to know what he said. So we had a look at the card, and the card was addressed to his lawyers, and it just simply read, "Who do these beepers think they are? Shut them down." And we were like, oops. Sure enough, a couple of weeks later, because I missed part of the important part of the story. We had an About Us section on the website, and it actually had a section entitled "The People to Sue," and so we were quite easy to find. but yeah, we got a cease and desist letter several weeks later. But the big pain, like that was, we didn't really care about the card side, but the real pain about that was that they took exception to my company name, Apple Max, and they insisted that I change that as well. Like looking back on it now, it's a funny story, it's a great anecdote, and you don't meet many people who've been sued by Steve Jobs. So that is my Steve Jobs dinner party story. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, and I should probably do a little bit of promotion at the end of this. Now I run a company called Infinite Loop. We repair, lease, and sell Apple products. So if you need any of our services, do let us know.